Having the spirit, freedom, and ability to push back.
Make a lot of mistakes, fail fast.
No two snowflakes are alike for a reason.
Add your human element.
You're not gonna get this much information at your fingertips.
Make decisions based on your own reality.
Your vibe, your energy, what you give off.
These LLMs are just doing pattern recognition.
When the world is going this way, try to go that way. Human aura can't be automated. You have to understand that in this lifetime that you're living in, let's say you're 15 right now or 20 years old right now. Luckily, you're gonna live another 80 years, 100 years. All right, cool, you got that. In the next 100 years, you still have agency over your own life. And we discussed this in previous episodes. Do not ever get it fucked up. The world is yours to conquer or to be defeated by. So you have to understand that even in a world of automation where you feel like everybody's against you and you're the most replaceable generation ever, cool, we accept your bullshit ass excuse. But you have to accept that you have agency. You have the autonomy. You have the will and the willpower to push back. You are a fucking human being. You're not a computer. You are not a Roomba that gets told to sweep a room and go back into your pod. You are a living, breathing human being, bro. Having the spirit, freedom, and ability to push back and not follow rules is what makes you a human person in comparison to an AI. An AI, Rich, doesn't have that autonomy. It can tell you go fuck yourself if it really wanted to, but it wouldn't know why it's saying that. It doesn't have a central spirit. I know about AGI, I know about superhuman intelligence. I'm not a fucking idiot, but we're not there yet. This computer and you are two very different things. You have the ability to push back and say, I don't accept the course that I am on. I have human will, autonomy, and agency. I will determine my own destiny. That is what the advantage you have. So when you look at the world that way, now you have one of the greatest tools ever known to man at your fucking fingertips. What are you gonna do with it? That right there, it got me excited. I wanna climb a mountain right now. Like that, like how do you not look at this shit and you're not excited?
Damn, bro. I love everything you said. And you know what? To be honest, I've fallen for this too, is just the pursuit of perfection when it comes to using the LLMs, right? It's very easy for you to fall into like the ChatGPT matrix as you're prompting it and it giving you 5 decisions and then 10 decisions, and then you sort of prompt it to the point where it's making decisions for you. And you also don't want to fall into that matrix either, because then you start to lose the competitive advantage that is you. It's a fine line, right? You use it to your advantage, but also don't go down the rabbit hole of seeking perfection or the perfection of what you think an LLM thinks is perfection. Because the problem is, if you peel back the systems, these LLMs are just doing pattern recognition. They're taking in words, inputs, and prompts and just associating words together and outputting what it thinks the best outcome, the best predictive analysis of your prompting is. It doesn't really know what the best decision is for you. So don't take everything that this LLM says literal. Prompt it, gather information, but ultimately add your human element to it and make decisions based on your own reality.
Rich, you nailed it. You said the key word, for you. It's compiling the world's data. Every Reddit thread, every Quora query, every YouTube transcription, textbooks. It is taking a consensus of everything in the world that it thinks is the right mathematical problem. That shit works for scientists. That shit works for the cash register at Target, because you need to get back every cent that you didn't spend because it has to calculate. It doesn't work for you because you only know what the fuck you want and what you may potentially want. And you have to have the ability and the taste level and the human judgment to look at 700 pieces of information and pull out the 3 that are most relevant to you. All that device can do is put in front of you what is average. It's up to you to take it and select and curate what is true to you and then go out there and take action. So I love that we're getting into this point of the conversation, Rich, because this is what I feel the most strongly about. I have actionable advice number 6, which is a bit nuanced, but bear with me. I believe human aura can't be automated. What do I mean by that? When you go out into the world and you touch grass, you get a unique opportunity to discover who you are when you're amongst your friends, when you're amongst beautiful women, when you're amongst other people, bullies. The world shapes you in real time. So your aura kind of comes from how you react to the world. All those little weird idiosyncrasies that make you, that make your friends laugh at your jokes, or make your classmates laugh, that is what makes you special. A computer cannot do that. A LLM cannot do that. I know Justin has always kind of been Justin because I've been this way since we were in middle school together, Rich, in high school. I've always had this personality that brought people to me or pushed people away from me. And that is my aura. Rich, I don't know if you have a story off top or an energy about yourself that has always been consistent since you were in high school, but I would love it if you shared what made you unique and how that's worked for you in current day.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've always sort of carried this like stoic demeanor. I've always been someone that's highly curious. The area where we grew up was not the easiest, right? It was sort of rough upbringings. You had to have real tough skin.
There's a lot of gang members and a lot of bullies for sure. And if you were a weirdo, you were gonna get exploited for sure.
Yeah, and deep down, I was like nerdy, and I didn't know how to fully express who I was in a world full of gangsters, you know what I mean? So the way I manipulated my upbringing was I used a computer, I learned how to make music and production, and I made beats for all the hood motherfuckers that were rapping. And that was my way to get cool points and not get beat up. You know what I mean? And sort of like be protected. That was my way of keeping myself safe, right? Like there was no AI to teach me like in this particular area where we grew up, like how to handle and maneuver different situations. I just thought to myself, if I'm resourceful to these people, I won't get beat up, or at best case scenario, they'll protect me. So that was part of my competitive advantage that I just learned early on. Like, how can I be resourceful to the people around me so I could survive in this like rough environment?
Yeah, you got to be courageous. You got to be authentic and embrace your originality. And I think that is what is going to become the new gold, is when you can discover who you are and what makes you unique in a world full of a messy middle. A messy middle meaning that anyone can create art on Midjourney. Anyone can create a poem on Claude, Anthropic. Anybody can go to Gemini and get the latest code, but it's going to be the messy middle. It's going to be a lot of the LLMs that are trained to pull the world's data and give you the average. That is what the world is going to have a lot of. So you know what the world is not going to have? People that are unique. Your fingerprint. No two snowflakes are alike for a reason. That is what the world is going to want more of. So while people flock, we're talking about competitive advantages and counter positioning, which are very high level business terms, but all it really means is when the world is going this way, try to go that way. And what that way is, when the world is zigging and you're zagging, the zag is be more of yourself, because there's only one you on the planet. Even twin people, like actual twins that came out of the same womb, same mother, same father, identical twins, even they are not alike. So the last competitive advantage in the world is being yourself. And you're probably still in the process of discovering that. But while you're discovering that, lean into it. Lean into the shit that makes you weird. Lean into your goofy laugh. Lean into the interests that intrigue you but don't intrigue nobody else. That is really the best edge you can have in an automated world. Human aura cannot be replicated. Your vibe, your energy, what you give off, that cannot be replicated. So go out and touch the grass, go out and experience life around real people, and get the fuck off your phone listening and watching to doom content. It doesn't help nobody.
Yeah, I love that, bro. Build a version of yourself that can't be duplicated, right?
God damn it, that's amazing. I'm writing that down. What did you say that again?
Yeah, build a version of yourself that can't be duplicated.
Rich, off top, if you were to give that advice to, like, I know you got younger nephews and stuff, what, like, just what you said right there, why is that valuable information to a young person that is looking at a world that's filled with clones?
Like I said, bro, that's your IP. Your story is your IP, and that's what gives you your competitive advantage. And I only learned that in my late 20s, early 30s, of like that self-identity of like who I was. And once I figured out who I really was and I doubled down on that, That's when everything started to click for me. That's when all the success started to come. That's when I started passing certifications, and the path to a successful life, career, family became very clear for me. Before, I had all these different roads that I could take, and I was unsure about a lot of different decisions. And once I figured out the nucleus of who my identity is, who I was, and the potential of what I could become, that's when everything became clearer for me. And that's why we emphasize that. I know as a young person, you're still experimenting, you're still figuring things out, you're still seeing there's a lot of different paths and roads you could take. You're seeing what your parents did, you're seeing what your friends are doing, older relatives have done in the past, and you're sort of deciphering like who you want to be going forward. But I promise you, take chances, make a lot of mistakes, fail fast, because the faster you get to who you are and who your identity is, the faster that road becomes clear of where you want to head and what your purpose is.
Yeah, Rich, that leads me to actionable advice number 8, which I think is a great segue. And it's kind of a counterpoint to that one. ChatGPT is perfect because it's a trained computer brain that is trained to give you the perfect quote unquote output. Kids that live in paralysis because they want to be perfect, I think they're doing themselves a disservice. That lack of perfection is what makes you unique. Perfection is a lie. So stop waiting to be the perfect version of yourself. As you begin to walk, the path will appear. This idea that you're just gonna get in your vehicle and know exactly where you're going when you're 30 is a fucking joke. It's actually laughable when you think about it. A young person trying to map their life all the way to retirement and they're gonna have this much money when they retire is a joke. If you tell God your plans, be prepared for him to laugh at you. You don't always need the full plan from A to Z when you hop off the porch. Just start walking. I know from life experience,